and more high utility at that moment, like more relevant to you. Now you want to go back and remember exactly what the teacher had said for a specific context. That's okay, but let's try to stay away from as much as possible. I thought it was better than rote learning, so I'm putting this above it in the tier average. Let's look at the next one on the list, which is spaced repetition. I'm going to put this at the top tier again. Spaced repetition is the best way that you're going to combat the forgetting curve. And we've talked about this a lot on this channel. It's so important that you're getting multiple touches on the material. And practically what this will look like is you have shorter intervals when the material is still unfamiliar to you, when it's still new to you, and you have a not necessarily deep understanding of it, then you're going to perhaps study it on the first day and then the third day and the fifth day. But then as the information gets a little bit more relevant to you, you have a better baseline knowledge of it, it becomes more familiar, then you can space out the intervals wider and you're not spending as much time in each subsequent session. That will really set yourself up well when it comes down for your revision, where you're not going to be starting from scratch. You actually retained a lot of the information, and it's simple, right? Just put a revision timetable for yourself, a prospective one, in the sense where before the term started, you know the topics that are going to be taught because you have all the syllabi. Set it up for yourself. You can make changes throughout the term, but this way you know that you're getting multiple touches ahead of your exams. You know that the retention is going to be a lot higher. You know that you're not going to have to cram from scratch. So I think that's a really, really good one to utilize, and I think that that's got to be at the top tier. The next one on the list is active recall, and that's definitely at the top of the list. I won't harp on this for too long because we talk about it literally in every single study video that we bring up. Active recall is one of those learning strategies that have been so highly studied. It focuses on the retrieval process instead of the encoding one, or not just solely relying on the encoding one, and it's really, really great for your retention. So it's the idea of, can you consistently test yourself across your revision timetable for the material that you're being covered with in class? And when you do that, you do such a good job of identifying gaps of knowledge. One, that's one benefit. Two, you do a really good job of consolidating the information that you do know as well. So active recall, test yourself constantly. And I actually talk about this pretty differently than I think most. I think active recall is a principle, right? And I think about active recall as that overlying principle, and underneath it, there are certain application points. So when I talk about the Feynman technique, when we have the teaching others as one that we briefed on in the beginning, I think that's an application of it. When I think about the blurting method, that's an application of it. When I think about the practice test, that's an application of it. So use active recall. It is such high utility in comparison to low utility techniques like rereading, rewriting, or anything of that sort. So